having this vision. I've been having this vision. Either rise or you fall. I'm on a mission, bringing my dreams to fruition. I ain't playing at all. Bring out the body bags. I'm about to kill them, deliver them to the mortician. I gotta do what I gotta do. That's for my face, making my face. I gotta do what I gotta do. I pray to God, he never came. I'ma do me, I'ma do me. That's in my blood, I'll never change. That's in my blood, I'll never change. That's in my blood, I'll never change.
Aloha Avakea. Good afternoon and welcome to the 8:05 post show, and after another exciting day of surf action at the Hurley Pro Sunset Beach presented by Shiseido. I'm Kaipo Guerrero along with the wonderful Rosie Hodge and 88 world champ Barton Lynch to take you through all the action. And Rosie, what a day.
Oh man, 24 heats. We really packed in a lot. I'm a bit cross-eyed. I think the athletes, they had their work cut out for them.
Yeah, it was a massive day. Big waves, strong, powerful ocean, and the performances were incredible.
Well, it was incredible. And the fact that we did use that overlapping heat format, we got through a lot of heats. And for me, it was a lot of excitement. We saw excellent scores. We saw Sunset really shake back up compared to kind of survival yesterday, BL.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we saw some, we're going to review it all now, but there was some highs and some lows and some twists and some turns that you just didn't anticipate coming. So it was a fantastic day of competition, really. It had everything.
Yeah, and ending up the day with a bang, 16.1 two-wave heat total. Kanoa Igarashi is in the quarterfinals, and he's with Laura Enever.
Yes, Kanoa Igarashi, wow. Ending the day with a 9.77, one of the highest scores of the day. You said that you got pretty worked out there, but you pulled it through.
Yeah, I mean, it's solid right now. Everyone only sees like the waves we're catching, but I don't think people realize how many waves we're catching on the head. But yeah, it's fun, it's exciting. It was just one of those heats where there's a lot of water moving, and the swell's still pulsing. It was supposed to drop, but I swear I think it got bigger. But a lot of poundings out there. I hit the bottom. I didn't know there was a bottom out there, but yeah, it was all good. It was fun.
And talk us through that 9.77.
Yeah, it was just I was paddling back out, and Wissy was like, "Hey, you've got your sixes. Let's lock into a bomb now." Yeah, as soon as I got out the back, it took like 30 seconds, and this big triangle came, and I was like, "Oh, this is the one for sure." And I was just surviving. It was a really hard wave to surf. I just tried to put engage as much rail as possible. And as soon as I came out of the second turn, I just pulled up, and I remember Snake telling me back in the day, he was like, "Hey, if you feel like you can't make this section, just pull in." And that's exactly how I felt. So I pulled in, and it was funny. I paddled back out, and Witsy out there was like, "Oh, that was full Snake style." So yeah, shout out to Jake.
Yes, shout out to Jake. So many amazing caddies out there. How important is it to have that communication and relationship with them? Yeah,
it's teamwork out there. It's teamwork all year, but especially here at Sunset, because people don't realize. Witsy, he was out there all day for all of us. He was out there for my first heat, for Griffin's heat, and then my second heat, and then now he's out there working on boards with Steph. So. Yeah, it's huge hats off to Tom. He gives a lot, 1,000% to us, and yeah, it just makes us want to go harder. And when I got that 9, I felt like he was more happy than I was. It was just one of those moments where he was like, yeah, that was it, and he was like gritting his teeth, and it was a special moment. And then I got my last one. It was actually after the heat. I think it was better than my last 9. So yeah, we were just we were psyched. We were laughing out there, and we're just gonna move on to finals day now.
Let's go. Let's take that confidence to finals day. Kanoa Igarashi into the quarters. We'll be seeing you very soon.
And speaking of finals day, our finals day is all set as we look into the brackets. Quarterfinal number 1, BL Kyle Ebeli versus Ezekiel Law. Your thoughts?
Kyle Ebeli has been in perhaps career best form. He looks so sharp, so confident. The board underneath his feet looks absolutely perfect, but then he needs to be, because he's against Zeke, and Zeke's the modern day Sonny Garcia. He's got the power, he's got the connection to this place, he's got the history, so that's a tough one. Could go either way.
Yeah, Baron Mamiya, Seth Moniz, quarterfinal number 2. I can't pick one at all there because that's an all Hawaiian affair. Here's a heat recap of the final heat of the day. Kanoa Igarashi, Rosie, versus Jadson Andre, and Kanoa just showing some maturity out here at Sunset Beach and some bravado.
Yeah, he said he wanted to bury as much rail as possible. He also got his body involved in that one, but definitely towards the end of this heat, that's where he really started to click into gear. Such a cool insight of how much the caddies are relaying to these athletes and how much they're relying on them. Cool to see Kanoa pull in there. 2003 Sunset champ Jake Patterson will be very stoked with that.
Oh, yeah. And Jadson Andre, by the way, BL, put up a battle in the final moment. Just the clock ran out on him.
Yeah, it did. And it was a 7.77. It got him right back into it. He only needed an 8.5 or whatever at that point. But Kanoa, he was brilliant out there. He really was. He looked so confident and so strong.
Here's the numbers: 9.77, 6.33. Strong showing. Excellent heat total for Kanoa Igarashi, and he is off to finals day here at Sunset. One of the many stories that are developing throughout this competition, another story that's developing, not through this competition, but throughout this early season, is the charge, Rosie, of Caio Ibelli coming in as a replacement for Gabe Medina, and Caio is making the most of this wild card situation.
That's right. I mean, BL touched on a career best form for Caio Ibelli. He's tapped into something that not many people get to experience in their career, where they really start to fill in their potential, BL. I mean, a third at Pipe, now he's in the quarters. I mean, there's even opportunity for him to get first in the rankings.
He sure does, and he was a big challenge to a guy that was really in top performance shape. Kaloya Andino would have been one of my favorites coming into Sunset, but Caio Ibelli was too much for him, BL.
Yeah, he was. He was sharp. The board just looked so good underneath his feet. But, you know, to Kalohe's credit too, he was right there and he put on a great event. He showed that he's in good form. A couple of slippy mistakes there at the end of some of those rides for Caio, so you clean that up and move on to the quarterfinals. But he's, you know, he is in top form, and Zeke Lau is one of the favourites going into the event, so it'll be a great quarter.
Yeah. Well, in the round of 16, heat number 5 was actually my favorite heat of the day. It was the highest scoring heat, with Ethan Ewing and Felipe Toledo trading blows out here at Sunset Beach. And BL, I thought Felipe was in form, but it really was Ethan Ewing who turned up the volume.
Well, he started so strong, and it was like, oh, this is, you know, it was an amazing heat, but it felt like Ethan had it in the bag. And then Felipe drops that 9, Rosie, and it's just on again. And then I turned my back, and then Ethan's got a 9 as well, and he's through. It was an amazing, and both of these guys could have gone all the way in this event. So that was the heat of the day in my mind as well.
Yeah, such a fun heat to witness. I mean, just the grit, determination from Ethan to turn it around on this wave after Felipe had put on such a show. Ethan really backed himself. He had to find excellence on this wave with time winding down, and he dug his heels in.
Yeah, just incredible stuff by both of these surfers. But Ethan Ewing, when we look at the numbers, it's hard to top these numbers. 9.67, 5.7, 18.24 out of a possible 20 for a perfect heat. Ethan Ewing on fire.
And look at Felipe, 16.50, excellent heat as well. So
it almost makes you sad, though, because you look at Toledo and he's in such great form. It's hard to see him out of the event so early. You want to see him surf again, but hey, someone's got to take a backseat. Ethan, well done to him.
Upsets, the theme of the day. Kelly Slater's out, Miguel Pupo out, John Florence gone. All the grayed out names in this top 10 graphic are all out of competition. Opportunity for these final 3 surfers: Seth Moniz, Caio Ibelli, and Kanoa Igarashi, BL.
Yeah, when we saw that quarterfinal lineup, it was the new school. There was a lot of young kids in those quarterfinals tomorrow, and this is the sort of wave that ordinarily respects experience. But not today at all. You know, it's today it took of Johns and Kellys and all these, you know, incredibly experienced competitors and replaced them with a new guard that we're going to see when those quarterfinals kick off.
Yeah, that's why it's so great to have it back on tour. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we got more for you on the 805 post show. Top 5 of the day on the way. Back at the 8:05 post-show, Hurley Sunset Beach, presented by Shiseido. And you know what? If you're happy and you know it, make a claim. Big claims here today, and rightfully so. Give it a fist pump. Why not, Jordy Smith? We got the antlers out there for Joao. Felipe slapping the hand. Exciting stuff at the end of the rides here.
That was my favorite from Sammy Pupo, because that was all heart, all passion, all emotion.
I love it. I love the passion. I love the emotion. That's excitement right there. And we've had 2 great days of surfing already. What is day 3 going to bring us?
More action. I think it sounds like we're just going to roll into days of action here. We still got women's competition on the plate. We're into the quarterfinals of the men, so there's a lot on offer, and I think the swell's still going to it's still going to hold in pretty well, BL.
Yeah, I feel like tomorrow might be a day to, the guys have surfed 2 days of just exhausting powerhouse type conditions. They might be happy for a rest, and it might be the perfect day as we check out the Surfline Forecast.
Yeah, let's check in with our friends from Surfline. A large west-northwest swell that peaked earlier this week will ease over the next couple of days, but still plenty of action here. Looks like the winds, BL, is going to be good out of that east-northeast direction.
Yeah, originally I was thinking, when they say breezy, you start to be concerned, but the fact that it's got that east-northeast, the north part's difficult, but the east-northeast is good.
And the Pacific looking pumped up right now. Rosie, our long-range forecast looking pretty good too.
Yeah, we still have some SARS on offer. Obviously, it's going to notch down from what we saw on the first day of competition. It was calling for 25-foot plus. Now kind of gets into that really fun range for Sunset. Still a lot of swell to hit the lineup. I'm really excited about the women's competition getting out there.
Oh yeah, it's going to be the first time for the women out here since 2010 in a championship tour event, and it is going to be another historical day as we're continuing to make history in 2022 on the championship tour. Well, gang, this is my favorite time, BL. It's all about today's top 5 moments. And what do we got? We got the big guy, Connor O'Leary, coming through with an incredible upside down finish here, BL.
This was one of the craziest finishes we've seen. A 9.34, I believe, that was the score, and we see it here. Oh, and it came from his left and just washed across him, and somehow he just came through and went, that felt wonderful.
He needed that too. I mean, he was on the ropes. He needed to dig deep and find some brilliance. He comes away with that heat win.
What about number 4? Kanoa Igarashi closes out the day with a bang, Rosie, a 9.77.
Yeah, just going through the motions. Kanoa Igarashi built throughout this heat, and cool to see the way you get rewarded at Sunset for working that rail, for the variation in your maneuvers, finding the barrel section. So cool to see a different approach from Kanoa Igarashi.
Yeah, just, an assorted tray here of maneuvers. Just talking about variety. Carve punches the tail there, and then if that wasn't enough, I'm going to find a barrel on the inside section.
Wave of the day, 9.77.
Number 3, the young man from Encinitas, California, taking down John Florence. What I'm going to say, Rosie, was an upset of the day.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Jake Marshall just living up to the moment too, BL, like not letting it get to him as he's competing against the 2-time world champ. Really fun to watch. The rookies on tour this season and the mark that they're leaving.
I did some work out here at Sunset Beach. It must have been 6-7 years ago with Jake, and he was a natural. The way he drew his lines and the ideas that he had out there were absolutely perfect. He suits this way down to the ground.
Speaking of world champs and upsets, Matthew Mcgillivray takes down Kelly Slater, and he started off that matchup with a bang, a 9-point ride, Rosie.
Yeah, this was so amazing to watch Matty. I mean, he's such an even keel guy. Just to see his approach in this heat. Also coming in as one of those replacement wild cards. So any points that he can gather at these stops are so crucial for him potentially finishing out the season.
And a great opportunity for the young man out of South Africa. Unfortunately, not in the quarterfinals. Here we go. Jack Robinson, BL, an 8.5 and a 9.77 for the young man from Western Australia.
And the last time we saw him compete out here, he won the event in one of the most magical performances I've ever seen at Sunset Beach. It turned into backdoor pipeline, or it did for Jack, or he turned it into that and just surfed it so incredibly, and he showed that exact form today. Going into those quarters, he may be one of the most experienced in our young field.
Cat-like with the reflexes to keep the board underneath him. Jack Robinson capping off today. I want to thank Rosie Hodge. I want to thank you, BL, hanging in there. It's been a wonderful day. And you know what? Check in tomorrow, worldsurfleague.com. We may be running again. Forecast look good. And with that, I'm going to throw it to the end of the day highlights. Enjoy it, and aloha.
Aloha.
Go shock the world, go shock the world, go shock the world, go shock the world.
Full attack mode from Coyote Belly. Big slam off the top. Survives, claims it.
Go home, back to dad duties, play with the kid for a little bit. I think my wife will give me the day off for sure.
Shock the world.
Pulls the trigger on this one. Toledo, last year's runner-up in the world, drills it off the top again. Feeling solid.
But it don't take much. See, I got the Midas touch. Yep, don't think clutch with a rush. Like 100,000 kilowatts straight to the brain on a plane that would never drop.
Some action from John Florence.
Go shock the world.
Jake Marshall, big carving turn.
John is eliminated from competition.
Attention, priority interference has been called on Kelly Slater on John Florence.
I don't put the time in. I don't respect the wave and it doesn't respect me back, so it was over before it started.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.